Oh, hey, wait. Here's something I want to talk about. Have you ever heard of literary theories? Now, when we say literary theories, these are the framework that people use to analyze or interpret a literary text. There are a lot of literary theories, but we will just focus on four. First, we have the feminism. Second is the postcolonialism. Third is the Marxism. And lastly, we have new historicism. And let us tackle this or discuss this one by one. Now, to explain these literary theories, let us apply them to Philippine literature. First things first, let's talk about feminism. And feminism, or feminist theory, it focuses on women's rights, equality, and how women are represented in literature. An example of this is a song called Bakyanin. It is a song by Eng.3A, which in this song there's a line that says, "Ang bakya mo nini, ang bakyang mahal," which literally means your wooden clogs, meaning are precious. On the surface, it praises a woman's symbols or simple footwear. But from a feminist perspective, it shows how women were often reduced to objects or even symbols of modesty instead of being valued by their choices or individuality. This song reminds us of how women or how the society once defined women only through tradition or domestic images. And in feminist questions, it asks the question, why should Nining's worth be tied only to her bakya and not to her full humanity? So that's the example of a feminist perspective when interpreting or analyzing a literary text. Next, we have the postcolonialism. This is a theory that examines how colonialism shaped the culture, politics, and the identity of the colonized people. For example, we have The Dead Stars by Paz Marquez Benitez. Now, this is a short story about Alfredo Salazar, who is already engaged to Esperanza, but finds himself drawn to Julia Salas. Well, this story, or short story, basically about Paz Marquez Benitez short story, Dead Stars. There's this line where Alfredo says, "And I confessed longing for house. It was so brief, yet so wistful, that it could never be again." On the surface, this line is about a lost love, but through post-colonialism, it reflects the Filipino experience under the colonial influence. Alfredo's longing is like the colonial mentality, a fascination with Western ideals that seems bright, but will eventually fade in. Just as dead stars still shine through their light is gone. Colonial values lingered in the Filipino life even after independence. The character's delusionment mirrors how we Filipinos were left in between tradition and important American Western ideas, which resulted or which will lead us to confusion about our true identity. Okay, now let's move on to the next theory, which is the Marxism. So basically, Marxism theory focuses on the class struggles, inequality, and the suffering of powerless under oppressive systems. Example, let us use this song of Freddie Aguilar, "Child." It is an English version of his song that he wrote in 1978, which is called Anak. Now, in this song, or in this world-famous song, "Child," there's this line that says, "You are the child who was once held in my arms, but now you learn to walk on your own, and you stray from the path." Later it says, "And now you suffer in pain because of the mistakes you have made." Through a Marxism perspective, this song reflects not only personal disobedience, but also the harsh reality faced by many children of poor families. Poverty, broken homes, and lack of opportunity often push away people from the right path, and the society is quick to blame the individual instead of the unjust system. Now the song becomes a mirror of the struggles of the working class or ordinary people caught in the cycles of hardship. Now let's talk about the last theory, which is the New Historicism. This theory views literature as inseparable from the history and culture in which it was written. And as an example, let's have Rafael Zuetas da Costa's poem, which is titled Like the Mulabi. Now the speaker says in that poem, "Not yet resolved, not yet. Sleep not in peace, there are 1,000 waters to be spanned. There are 1,000 mountains to be crossed." Now, these lines directly addresses Dr. Rizal, calling on the nation to continue his unfinished work. Through the New Historicism, the poem reflects the historical context of the 1940s, when the Philippines was newly independent and searching for strength. The Mulabi tree symbolizes the resilience, reminding Filipinos to grow strong as a nation. Literature here becomes a voice of its historical moments of a country urging itself to rise. Those are the 4 literary texts that you can be able to use if you are going to interpret or analyze a literary text. And I hope that you learned something new today from me. That would be all for this video. Thank you everyone, and thank you for listening and for giving me your time. Bye!